Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about the decks slash support that is most likely coming in the next set for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it is a set that is likely to change the meta. Now, most of us know about the Caer stuff that is almost assuredly coming. We kind of figured this out given things like the ban list, you know, with Diablosis being banned and the like. As well as with how Caer has already received half of its support, we kind of expected the next half to be arriving pretty soon. And honestly, I expected it to arrive the next set, not the set that we're currently getting, if that makes sense. So there's that. I expected it to be one after this one. But alas, it's likely to arrive here pretty soon. Now, honestly, all of these are unconfirmed leaks. We don't actually know for certain what is going to be coming, but I do want to talk about specifically the things that are most likely to be arriving in Master Duel. Starting off with, obviously, Caer. This is basically guaranteed given the Diablosis ban, the Diablosis ban, as well as the hits to specifically tier limits. Now, I know what you're saying. Why does that matter? The tier limits, those were just because they were still being played too much, right? No, wrong. Tier limits Caer. If you have not read this card is absolutely insane, and it is a Caer card that is most likely to come in the next Caer set. However, it's better in tier limits than it is in Caer, and here's why. It is a level 7 psychic tier limit name that during the main phase, quick effect, you can banish you could special summon this card from your hand and then banish a Caer or tier limit monster from hand or grave. This, then on normal or special, you can send the top 3 cards of either player's deck to the grave, including yourself. And then on top of that, if this is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave, which means that basically it's additional ways to mill cards, which is why Kelbeck as well as the Havness are most likely hit. With tier limit Caer being in the game, this provides a lot of utility for tier limits, not only being a tier name, while also being a Caer name. It means you can also search it off of things like Fenrir, as well as the new Riseheart, which we'll talk about in a second. But on top of that, it is also a way to mill additional cards, which is fantastic for the deck. So that's probably why you saw the hits to tier limit, even though tier limit really wasn't doing all that well. It was maybe a rogue deck, but yeah, with this card, it really does boost the strategy quite a significant amount. However, with that being said, I really don't think that the nerfs were necessary, because a Riseheart exists. Yes, we all know and love a Riseheart. If you don't know what this card does, let me just tell you, it's Macrocosmos on legs. That's it. Once per turn, you can summon this on top of a Caer monster if an effect of Shangri-Ira was successfully activated this turn. That's it. Just if an effect was activated, you slap this guy on top of a Caer monster, bada bing, bada boom, you're off to the races. Also, any card sent to the grave is banished instead. Also, once per chain, each time a card is banished, attach a banished card to this card as material. And then once per turn, you can detach 3 materials from this card to target a card on the field and banish it face down. Yep, that is all of the things that this does. It basically generates its own materials by being able to, or by forcing your opponent to banish cards. You can also steal their banished cards if you so need. On top of that, you are also able to banish a card face down, which is really, really fun. This card is absolutely insane and super easy to summon. So all in all, I do expect this to change the meta. But that Macrocosmos effect is why I don't think that the tier hits were all that necessary or even warranted, besides Kelbeck, because no one likes that card. But, yeah, I'm surprised to see tier limits being hit when literally there is a counter that is designed to counter tier right here. Next up, we have ourselves the Caer Theosis, which is basically a better spell card that allows you to special summon another Caer monster of a different attribute from your deck. So basically, you go Unicorn is now full combo because Unicorn grabs up the Fenris grabs up the a Riseheart special summons itself while banishing another monster, and then if you have anything, you could just go into either a Riseheart, or you could go into Shangri-Ira and continue playing from there, or what have you. So this is a very, very strong card. On top of that, if it's banished, you can target a banished Caer monster and add it to, Caer card and add it to your hand, because it needs even more stuff. We have Pressure Planet Riseheart, which is basically just Perlino, but for Kashtira. That's kind of it. That's all that is. If a Kashtira Shangri-Ira you control activates its effect, you can target a card in the field, destroy it, and it searches out a Kashtira monster. Cool. It also boosts attack by different attributes. Very nice. Scareclaw Kashtira. During the main phase, you can special summon this card and then banish a Scareclaw or a Kashtira monster from your hand or grave. Similar effect to the Kashtira tier. On top of that, it attacks in defense position, and if it does apply a defense position or a defense stat, and then if your Kashtira or Scareclaw monster battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster's effects are negated until the end of this turn. It's kind of decent. It's mostly used for OTKs, but it's still nice as an additional summon. And then we have a Big Bang, which is actually really strong as well, because if this card is banished, you can target a Kashtira XZ monster and add a Kashtira monster attached to it to your hand. Then you can special summon that monster from your hand. Yeah, it's free. It's just a free extra monster. So oftentimes what actually happens with the Shangri-Ira is that, or not Shangri-Ira, with the Riseheart, is that you will go Unicorn into Fenris XZ summon, Fenris search out the Riseheart, XZ summon into the Shangri-Ira, special summon the Riseheart by banishing, special summon, banish the Big Bang. Big Bang then detaches a material, which also then gives you the ability to lock a zone with Shangri-Ira. You then special summon out something like the Fenrir. Then you use the level modulated, the level modulated Riseheart in order to go into, not a Riseheart, the Riseheart to go into a Riseheart. And now you have a Riseheart, Shangri-Ira, Fenris on field, and then whatever else is in your hand. That was off of one card, by the way, Unicorn. You're going to see that a lot. So yeah, just be aware of that, and Nibiru absolutely houses that. So keep that in mind if you're playing Kashtira. Moving on, we have some more unconfirmed leaks with Rescue Ace. Now, the only cards that theoretically have been leaked are these ones, which honestly don't really warrant much note. However, I do want to actually preface this with saying that Rescue Ace has a lot more cards than these ones, and if we get the full list for Rescue Ace, this actually could compete with Kashtira. Not at the highest level. I do think that Kashtira is still significantly better, but it is a deck new that could compete with Kashtira. I still think it's Kashtira, Pearly, then this one, but it's still a deck to consider. I'm not really going to explain this one nearly as much because I don't know all too much as to what is likely to arrive, and there hasn't really been much note to say that that this is going to be guaranteed. So I'm just going to kind of say that the overall idea is to basically summon out Turbulence, set 4, and pass, which relies on things like Hydrant to get you started and the like. So honestly, it's still fine. And the set 4 is pretty strong in Rescue, Alert, Contain, and Extinguish, all having the ability to interact with your opponent's cards, as well as potentially generate more advantage. These two tend to be advantage generation, like putting cards back into your hand or special summoning monsters, and then these two are disruptions. So it's honestly not that bad, but then you just have a million non-engine, and that's normally what makes it pretty good. However, if we don't get all of the cards necessary, like Emergency specifically, then this deck is probably not even worth mentioning. So yeah, we're just going to leave it at that, basically. Rescue Ace is exciting. I would love to see it, but I'm not really going to go over it because there is a high chance that this is not going to arrive in a functional state, basically. And then we have Gishki. Now here's the thing. Gishki is likely on here, or is likely to have been here. This doesn't make sense. Gishki is likely to arrive in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. There we go. Because of the limitation to Nimble Beaver. With Nimble Beaver being limited, this is likely what Konami wants us to play with Sprite, and that's why they're kind of pushing us towards it by basically limiting the other good engine. However, there are still like Runic that you can play, so I don't know what Konami is doing with that, but alas. Yeah, Gishki is still decent. It's basically a whole bunch of level 2s anyway, and then you utilize those level 2s to go into the ritual monsters, which actually have some pretty decent effects, like Hand Ripped and the like. And then, you know, with all of these are basically just additional consistency tools, most notably the Grimness. Specifically, it being a level 2 allows it to facilitate the entire sprite engine. But if you ritual summon a ritual monster with a card effect that requires the use of monsters, this card can be used as the entire tribute. And then if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a Gishki monster from your deck. And then you can declare, you can only declare attacks with ritual monsters until the end of this turn, but that's not really that big of a deal. The fact of the matter is, normal summon, you special summon another Gishki. Now you have 2 level 2s, which is full sprite combo. So that's kind of the idea behind that one. So there you go. That's generally what it's going to be. I would imagine you could also play the Gishkis on top, or you could play these Gishkis in a similar fashion that you would play the Nimbles. The only difference is that you probably aren't going to see as much success because something like Nimble Angler isn't going to be there for you for the sprites. And honestly, I just don't think that this is all that worth it because you could just play the runic stuff, which is far better. But alas, the OCG players will say, no, this is the best way to play, and they will be wrong. But alas, here we are. But yeah, that's basically all that you need to know, mostly Caer, for this upcoming pack. There are probably more cards to be announced, and I don't know how much of this is actually going to all be in this one set, seeing as how Rescue Ace and Caer and Gishki seems like a bit much, but alas, there is a possibility that that is the case. However, even with just some of these, I do expect the pack to be pretty worthwhile to go into. So, there you go. Hope you were saving up for this, but start saving now at the very least. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like us very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.